Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Let the Lady Speak. I am SG, and we are reviewing Ready to Love, Season 4, Episode 5, Eyes Wide Open. Okay, so we're going to get into it, but first, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Also, you can check out my podcast, Let the Lady Speak, on all podcast platforms. Another thing is we are here to talk about life, love, and relationships. And that's why I chose to review Ready to Love, because there's a lot of tidbits in this show. Let's get into it. So to start this week, Tommy meets up with the men at the males bar because it's going to be their week to decide whether or not which ladies stay and which ladies go. Um, KJ, Smooth, Chris says, "Oh, I love the free game." I'm like, Chris, what game? Tommy's not giving any game. You don't have any game. Like, there's no game. It's just, but I get it. I think he just likes the camaraderie. It's just nice to be around some men. So I'm not going to beat Chris up. Joel says he has eyes for a few women and he's not really ready for the women to go home. And I'm like, Joel, besides Varnisha, who do you have eyes for? I think I missed something because I don't recall him having eyes for anyone else but Varnisha. I could be wrong. So Tommy lets them know that they're going to have a masquerade ball. And I love that because I love masquerade balls. So I can't wait to see it. I hope to host one of my, I am going to host a masquerade ball one day for the ladies and the gentlemen to get together, mix and mingle, and have a great time. I'm looking forward to that. Just a side note, guys, I am really trying to get this camera electric situation under control. So it looks like I'm looking one way, but the camera is this way. But when I look this way, it doesn't look right. So bear with me. I'm trying to figure it out. But anyway, back to the show. So Tommy jokes as always, and he leaves the men to their own devices and they go on their dates for the week. I really wish, I'm going to say it again, I've been saying it. They need some help on this show. They need some dating coaches. They need some therapists. They need some counselors. They need some support. They need some men who are going to hold these men accountable and hold their feet to the fire. Because Uncle Tommy or Nephew Tommy is just not doing it. I know he's supposed to be Nephew Tommy, but he's so uncle. He just is super uncle. Okay. Date number one, AJ, Jason, Kyra, and Alexis go ice skating. Has AJ had a one-on-one with anyone? Like, he just keeps going on group dates. Like, who are you really interested in? I would like to see him go on a one-on-one so we can hear some real conversations and see how he plans a date, really, just for him and a lady, not a group date. But they go skating. AJ and Kyra are talking. And one thing I noticed about AJ does this thing like, you over there, come closer. And I'm like, AJ, your game is soft. Okay, how about you be a gentleman and say, can I come closer? I would like to be closer to you. Is it okay that I move closer? Why does she have to keep coming to you? He said that to every lady. And then he's offended because, Alexis is like, you ain't said nothing but a word. Come closer. How close you want me to be? You know what I mean? Um, Mix that up a little bit. I know Touchy, what's his name, Troy is gone, but don't be weird. Just invite yourself into the lady space. Ask her if that's okay. It shows you're a gentleman as well. So let's try something different. Anyway, they're talking and AJ and Kyra are talking. Who's in the top? And he tells Kyra, "You're in my top." And like I said, Kyra's going to give him another chance, and we'll see where this goes from there. I don't see a lot of substance from AJ. I feel like he's just skating by on his looks. I don't really see him making much of a sincere effort with anyone. He's just like vaguely flirting around, in my opinion. Ryan and Stacy. Oh, I'm skipping. So Jason, excuse me, racist. Jason and Alexis are talking. They're out there. She's so cute. She bought this tiny, and I'm short. I'm not tiny like that anymore though, but I'm short. So I get it. And she's like trying not to fall on these ice skates, child. Or yeah, I think they're ice skating. Anyway, Alexis basically forces Jason to put his cards on the table. And Jason's like, I had to tell her, no, your body language told her yes. But Alexis was pretty much like, what we doing here? If you're not interested, say that, because I don't. Here she goes. I don't feel any sensuality or any, you're not sensuous with me or something to that effect. I'm like, girl, you said now you didn't want the whole sex thing. Like, just leave it alone. But I like Alexis actually. I like her. I like her personality. Um, so they have a talk, and he basically says, I see you as a parent. And she says, I understand, and she's gonna move forward. She knows where they stand, and that is that. Next date is Ryan and Stacy. Stacy goes to Ryan's house, and Ryan does a really good job. Ryan plans great dates. Okay, he does a really good job. So he planned a date. He did his research. Men, if you want some cues on how to be intentional, Ryan is doing it. He planned the date. He found out what she liked. He gave something she liked, and then he plans a date later where he plans the date, but it is something that he likes, so he can teach the ladies. Like, Ryan is doing good with the dating. I think Ryan and Joel are probably the most sincere, serious men on this season of the show. He used his resources, he got some information, he planned a date for her. He was all ready to talk. She's looking good. Like, Stacy looks good, honey. We Stacy takes care of herself. She came dressed nice. She looks good. She was sexy, but she was very classy. Um, and Ryan was dressed nice too for it to be a home date. He didn't just show up you know, like he was chilling at the house. So that was nice. Stacy messes up the whole thing. She starts asking about Chrysanthemum because, and I think Alexis, because I guess Ryan and Alexis talks on the phone a lot. So they start talking, and she got herself all mixed up in that. Stacy, ladies, when you are on a date with a man, once you figure out that he is not married, engaged in a long-term relationship or anything like that, don't ask about another woman. If you know he doesn't have a woman, you don't ask about another woman. That other woman is none of your business, right? Unless they become serious. That's the only time you need to concern yourself. So you're supposed to be getting to know him. He's supposed to be getting to know you. You need to find out what kind of value he brings into your life. And he's trying to figure out the same thing. You're asking about another woman. He went through all of this to plan it for you and to show you he was intentional about you. And you're asking about another woman. Like, why? Don't ask about another woman. You Once you make sure there is no wife, fiance, long-term girlfriend, or crazy woman that's jumping on cars and climbing out windows and stuff. Once all of that is off the table, you don't discuss another woman. Your time with that man is your time with that man. And once you two commit, then the conversation is, are we committed? And is everybody else gone out the picture? Right? That's it. She messed up. And so Ryan chose Chrysanthemum because she basically gave him no choice. Like, who do you want? Who are you interested in? Who's your top? I'm so tired of this top conversation. But anyway, who's your top? You know? And Ryan said, well, the date was awkward and I chose Chrysanthemum. So that was the end of that. Next up, we have Amber and KG Smooth. They're out on a date. They had like a breakfast date, and they're sunning and earthing and doing all of the nature things, which that was nice. KG says he loves Amber's thought process. KG loves that Amber is willing to say yes to the foolishness that he is trying to get. He is saying, in my opinion. Um, like I said in my last review, I think Amber is willing to accept what KG has to offer. If this was any other woman, this will be over. No one else will be taking this from him. But I think she is just looking for someone to love and to be supportive. And Chris is more than willing to love and be supportive as long as he's not majorly paying any bills. So I don't even know if it's about paying the bills. I just think he doesn't want to have to worry about the money. But I talked about that last time. Anyway, she says he's strong and he's powerful. And I'm like, how? What is he doing that's so strong and powerful? What is he showing you? Then they have another conversation. As the conversation goes on, Amber asks KG his thoughts on marriage. And he said, if you want to get married, then let's. So you're on the show, Ready to Love, where the ultimate goal is, yes, to find love, but it's also to get married. And he's like, yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, Amber, baby, that's a sign. That's a red flag. Unless you don't want to get married. And I don't think that is your intention. I could be wrong, but he's not interested in being married. And if he says, I'll do it, just because you say do it. You know what's going to happen later down the road when something happens. You're going to say, well, you made me do it. I didn't want to do this. Red flag, red flag. So Amber, just be careful because I don't think KG is really seeking a solid relationship. I think he's just looking for comfort from himself, if I'm gonna be honest. Amber said, so what is the goal? Because he says this is marriage is not the top of the relationship. And so I'm like, well, what's the top? What's the what? A lifelong commitment. I mean, which how much more, what more can you do? I don't Amber, be careful. Just be careful. So next up, we have Ron, Joel, Diedrich, Chris, and Tressa and Varnisha. They go out salsa dancing, which Ron set up, and he is the instructor. And I thought that was really cool. He even separated the couples off so they can have a good time. Joel loves touching him some Varnisha. I don't know if Joel's really like into Barnisha or he just loves the softness of it all because that man cannot keep his hands off of her. And he is just very much into letting her know I am into you and touching you. He likes touching her, but she seems comfortable with it under like unlike Touchy Troy, where he was making everybody uncomfortable. So we'll see where that goes. He did say later that he likes the fact that Barnisha has been through some things and she takes care of her home and her children. And she does seem like a very nice, sweet girl, but lady, I should say. But I just hope, they understand and learn more about one another because I don't see that. Or I put in there, I want to see something deeper between the two of them. There's a lot of lusting. And there's a lot of lusting. Chris and Ron are dancing. Chris brings up Alexis, Chris meaning Chris Chrysanthemum. She brings up Alexis. Chris ruined the date. Chris Chrysanthemum came in with a nice dress on. She looked good. He was ready for it. He's like, boom, I got Stacy out the way. Now I just need to focus on these two ladies. This was her opportunity to just show up and to shine and show her personality and get to know him more and share more about herself and just have a good time. But no, she had to bring up Stacy and she had to bring up Alexis. For what? For why? For who? For what? For why? Why, girl? There was no reason in that moment. It should have just been about you two and just getting to know one another. It shouldn't have been this conversation about Alexis and Stacy. Why? And now they feel like the guys are starting to feel like they can't separate the two, but I'll get to that later. So Chris gets annoyed. I mean, Ron, excuse me. Ron gets annoyed at Chris and him. And he even said, I'm looking for a partner. Can you do that? Like, while you focus on everybody else, can you be what I need you to be for me? Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody to be what I need them to be. And you worried about other people. So Chris messed it up. That's what I wrote. Next, Diedrich and Tressa are at the spice store. And Tressa looks nice. She came in her spicy dress, nice fitted dress. And, you know, um, Tressa has a nice shape. And she's such a sweetheart. This show is just probably not for her. Diedrich with his eyes, Diedrich and those eyes, like, I don't trust Diedrich either. It was real awkward. You can tell there was like no true attraction between the two of them. And he was kind of standoffish. She was trying to figure out what was happening, but she should have just known that they didn't have any attraction towards one another and left it at that. Had a good time and left the store because there was nothing there. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like either one of them are interested. And then Diedrich, he kept like pulling back, like he kept walking back from her. So I'm like, well, what is the problem here, sir? With your little shifty eye self. I'm see you, Diedrich, watching you. So he kept pulling away. And he pretty much was like, I'm not interested. And she was like, he's not interested in me. And I really wish Tressa would just kind of hold it like, I just wish she would present her energy differently. More of a, oh no, he's not for me, he's not choosing me. You're not there to be chosen per se. You're there to present yourself and you guys match up. This isn't he has to pick me. If he picks me, I'll go. No, it goes both ways. I like her, but I don't know. But I don't think anyone on this show, this particular episode is really for her though. So they leave the spice store. That was pretty much it for that day. The night of the masquerade ball. So everybody looked nice. Everyone got dressed up. Tommy brought his wife back. Miss Jackie came and she talked a little bit to the lady. She talked to Alexa, basically repeated what she said about marriage and friendships and relationships. You do have to be your partner's friend because there are times that you won't like them. And the love, I don't believe you fall out of love with them. That's just me. I don't feel like you fall out of love. You probably just not having that honeymoon stage at the moment. There are times where they get on your nerves, but the word love is, for me, love is unconditional. So I'm gonna still love you. I may not like you today. You may not be my boyfriend today. You might just be my husband or something like that. But so they talked a little bit about that. So Liz came in, honey. Liz brought the girls out. She had the color on. She was like, I gotta let y'all know what I'm working with here because y'all not gonna have me in the box. And I said that about Liz. Liz pulls back the layers. Liz didn't put all her cards on the table. Liz is like, little by little, you're going to get a piece of me. Although I have some concerns with Liz because that David, honey. Okay, so Liz didn't come to play, and all the men know that she stopped the room. She stopped the world. She did a Beyonce on them. David is marking his territory. He goes running over there, like, yeah, I want them to think we together. She said, what? Yeah, I want them to know. So they walk over to the table. I don't know what David. So they walk over to the table and they're all like mingling and everything. And Jason takes notice of Liz. And later Jason and Liz go and have a conversation. Um, but I'll get to that. Tommy says it's time for them to take the mask off. So basically show who you are, get to know each other, reveal some of yourself, so you guys can really truly get to know one another. And then here goes Stacy overstepping. Let me tell you something, ladies. Keep your friends out of your business. Your friends, your family, your auntie, your all of them out of your business. Okay. Because Stacy is making it appear that there are two. So Stacy and Chris Anthium are friends. They befriended each other on the show. They call themselves Frick and Frack, which I don't really care for, but that's not my business. They call themselves freaking frack. So they're the best of friends now and they're hanging together. And Stacy is now speaking to Ron on Chrysanthemum's behalf. Sorry. And that is a no-no. You're overstepping your boundaries. That's not for you to do. That's between the two of them. You don't do that. And it turned Ron off. And Ron was just like, basically go away. And all the men are talking about how it's difficult to try to get to know Chris because Stacy is always in the mix. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if this is true or not, but my thoughts were, I wonder if Stacy, because Stacy didn't become interested in Ron until Chris became interested in Ron. So I wonder if Stacy befriended Chrysanthemum because she saw her as her quote unquote competition, and so it's like better for them to be friends because they both were similar looking ladies. So it's like, well, let me just befriend her. I could be wrong, but hear me out. Let me just befriend her so we can kind of know. So now she has an alliance with Chris Chrysanthemum, and the two of them are just going to team up on everybody. Like, that's not how that works. You guys are adults. This is not high school. So um Chris, you need to keep Stacy out your business, girl, because she means no harm. And now she's coming and talking to this guy that you like and bringing up another woman, and you are a man and you need to lead. And I'm like, Stacy, you've been doing all right. You really have. But this is all the way wrong. Like, you are doing all the wrong things this episode. You're inserting yourself into someone else's relationship and you're bossing this man, and now you are basically attacking his integrity and his manhood by telling accents but saying that he needs to lead and what he needs to do. You going too far. You did too much in this episode. You really did. So the guys are bothered by it and they're all talking about it. They talk to Tommy about it. Everybody's like, you don't even want to talk to Chris because of Stacy. Stacy, you're blocking your girl. She could be somewhere fine in love, but you messing it up. Or you should be off, honestly, taking care of your own business. Like, you could have been trying to connect with someone else. Jason and Liz talk, and then they are flirting and lusting with each other. I said my last episode, I think Liz, excuse me, is trying to do something different. And it's going kind of going against her nature a little bit. And this is what I mean. So, they're talking about each other, and Jason moves the hair out in front of Liz's face, and Liz pauses and she laughs and she's like, I like that. I was like, girl. Anyway, with that, she had her hand on his leg, and he was like, yeah, you like Michelle Obama and all of this, but you got your hand on my leg. you know Jason like, well, what we doing? Because girl, don't threaten me with a good time. So it's like, Liz, I'm sorry, Liz, calm down, girl. um so they're supposed to go on a date. We're gonna see what happens, but they're supposed to go on a date. And I don't know. I just feel like, let's just be true to yourself, and you have to really figure out what it is that you want, because you kind of sending mixed signals. There's nothing wrong with being spiritual or religious or anything like that, but if you want to abstain, you can't entice the man. You can't entice the man and say we have to abstain. Like, you're sending mixed signals. So be careful. Liz asks Jason who's his top, and he's like, you in my top. I hate that question, who's in my top. I would not give a hoot nanny, because if I'm going home, then I'm supposed to be here. Okay. If I'm staying, then I'm staying. I'm not asking who's in the top, because I'm my own top. Be your own top. Don't ask them. They don't matter. What's gonna be is gonna be, and what's meant is meant. But anyway, Jason says you are. So they're trying to see. Liz said, we're gonna see if this is just a moment in time or if this is really something. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna see, because Jason was all smiles because he saw her boobies, he saw her Cleveland, and he was like here for it. But she did look nice. Liz looked nice. Chris and Ryan are talking about Alexis, but Alexis walks up, honey, and Ryan went right behind her, because Chris has gotten on Ryan's nerves, and so has Stacy, and the two of them together have really turned him off. So he's like, I don't have time for that. I think Ryan is really, really sincerely looking for someone, and what Stacy and Chris are doing is they are making it like they are one. And with that, what he thinks, or what any man would think, is that this person is going to always be in our relationship. No one wants that. A man especially doesn't want that. They don't want your girlfriend's input on everything about your relationship. That's a no. So they really went wrong with that behavior, and it was actually really immature, in my opinion. So, Alexis is like, well, and she did it the right way. She didn't say I'm in your top. She said, there was some conversations. This is what I heard. I just kind of want to know what's happening here. I just need to get this clarified. It wasn't, oh, you gonna choose me. You said I was it. You said I was the one. It's more so like, let me just get some clarification so I know how to move. Ron, let it be known. It's you, baby. So the gentlemen meet back at the gentleman's lounge, and Liz is the talk of the town. Everybody talked about how, Liz came in and kicked the door in. Joey says his neck is still hurting. He needs a little Bengay. He over there smelling like salve. Uh, Kyra, Alexis, Amber, and Vernisha are all safe, of course. The men's. Sorry. The men have concerns about Stacy and Chrysanthemum's relationship. It was to talk about just how unsettling it is. It was that Chris couldn't have a conversation with anyone without Stacy, and Stacy is just, it's kind of like she's trying to push everybody to treat her friend a certain way. But I still think it's a little sabotage there. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I don't like how she handled the situation to Chris. You should never let that happen. Um, Diedrich and his shifty eyes. I was watching Diedrich watch everybody else. I'm one who watches the one that watches the room, because I'm trying to figure out, where I come from. That may mean you the one that's trying to rob. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. What are you setting up in your mind? So I'm watching you watch everyone. And you can tell he was uncomfortable. Diedrich has a lot to hide, I feel like. And I don't know if he's just really looking for friends, but he doesn't know how to do it, how to establish relationships. Like, there's something going on with Diedrich, but he was real shifty, very uncomfortable. Like, he would have been somebody, if we were in a room, I would have kept my eyes on him. I would have never been comfortable around him, because you can tell how uncomfortable he is. And I need to know what you about to do. Those are my thought processes. Anyway, so Stacy and Tressa are in the bottom. Later, Stacy and David meet up, and Joelle and Tressa meet up. I'm gonna do Joelle and Tressa first. Joelle was so gentle with her. He was really sweet. He was just kind of like, you didn't make it. He smiled. He was nice. He took it hard, but trust me, there was no one here for you, really, honey. So you're gonna find what you're looking for. You're a good person. You'll get it. You'll get it. But you gotta be more comfortable with yourself and stop questioning why somebody wants to be with you, and know that they if they get you, they get a good pick. Like that should be your approach. When you get me, you getting the thing. Okay, you need to know that. That should be your approach, not worrying about if they have sex, if they want more with a plus size woman and all of those things. I'm not saying those concerns aren't legitimate because those may be your experiences, but you have to move past that and remember who you are. You are a queen, my love. Walk in that room and own the room because you have so much to offer. Know what you have to offer, and you bring that to the table and say, who can match this? Who can make it better? Who can I grow with? Not, do you want me? Is that okay? Because that's what you give. It's like, am I okay? Is that okay? You stand up. I am her and she is I. What you want? What we doing? Oh, okay. That's how you do that. Um, I'm a piece of work. So Stacy and David talk, and David was happy to do this. I think they should have chose someone else to do it because I found it funny that David didn't bring up what Stacy said, at least in this version. I don't know what was edited, but David didn't bring up the whole password situation since he seemed so bothered by it. Um, Stacy mentioned that the men were afraid of getting caught up, and that's why they didn't like the chrysanthemum and her relationship. And it's like, no, it's inappropriate. It's childish. That's why you guys couldn't separate what you were doing. There's been plenty of episodes where the ladies were friends, but it wasn't, you get the two of us. It wasn't a package deal. You stand on your own. That was problematic. I agree with them in there. Um, David shuts her down and basically was like, we feel like you're not ready to love. So at the end of the day, Stacy and Tressa went home, and I felt bad for Stacy. She was crying. She was like, "My kids are gonna feel like I failed." Like, no, you didn't fail. It just wasn't your time, and it just wasn't the place. But you'll find what you're looking for. I think Stacy has a lot to offer, and I think she'll do well. You got to calm down on the bossiness, though. Not everybody wants to be bossed. Um, Although I really feel like a lot of these men are full of it, and she was just not having it. But it was really immature. It was really a poor call to be so close to Chris Anthony, where you guys had to be like this. You know, that wasn't, it wasn't the time or the place for that. So that is it with my Ready to Love review for Eyes Wide Open. I hope that you enjoyed. Please come back. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Check out my podcast, Let the Ladies Speak podcast. And I will see you guys soon. Love you for who you are. Thank you for letting me speak. Have a good night. Bye bye.